Just got out of a 3-hour movie and didn't check my phone the entire time. And I just popped it open. 0 notifications. Someone DM me.
I'm a popper. You're a popper too. Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. Going to talk about Blue Thunder this week on the main event. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric. I can't see you. Goldman. Where'd you go,
Hello.
Eric?
Well, now it's like you're on the same level as everyone listening to the podcast. They can't see me, so it all works out.
I'm just listening to an Eric Goldman podcast right now, just like
Mm.
everyone, and I'm better for it. Eric, let everyone know why your video is off, because it's sexy time in the Goldman household.
Video off, and I'm sure my sound is weird because I'm not using my mic. I'm just using earbuds. So when last we recorded, I was not feeling. I think we mentioned I wasn't feeling great. But turned out I had COVID. It took days after Comic-Con, because God, we recorded like Thursday or Friday. I come home Sunday. I felt a little sick. You can't come out of Comic-Con not feeling a little sick. That's just how it goes. But I did, these days you always have to wonder, okay, I should test myself for COVID, which I started doing. And then some people from IGN, they tweeted about it so I could talk about it. Some people from IGN tweeted that they had COVID from Comic-Con. And then I was like, oh shit, I was around them. Not a lot, but enough. Uh, and then I felt sicker and sicker all week. And then it took 6 days, is the crazy thing. But on Saturday, I tested positive, finally, for COVID and felt shittier. So then I was like, okay, I have COVID. That sucks. Can't go anywhere. Didn't feel horrible, but felt sick. And then on Sunday, I managed to really badly throw up my back, which is a terrible thing no matter what. But because I had COVID, an extra terrible thing because now I was like sick and my back, I could barely move at first and felt terrible. And I couldn't go see anyone about it because I have COVID. So,
So you're like
and
just getting your cats to come and make biscuits on your back, like, give me rubs.
pretty much. So I've been a big mess. But
That sucks.
it'll
And
be fine.
Eric has joined the coveted double COVID club.
That's
Uh,
right.
yes, and also, yeah, I feel bad. I hope you're on the mend now. And we were talking about the potential for podcasting this week, because not just because of the COVID, and you feeling cruddy, but because of your back. And longtime listeners of the podcast will know that Eric has chronic back issues, thanks to one Steve Milan in middle school in New York City. And
Yes.
and you said, well, maybe we'll do it from the bed, from the
Mm.
boudoir. And so that's where Eric is. So now we've done a podcast from a car and a podcast from a bed. And
Well, yeah,
but Eric won't. But the point is, Eric won't allow me to see him in the bed. Eric won't
I
allow me to.
won't. But it's funny, Matt, because I was about to joke we haven't done a podcast in bed together, but I actually don't think that's technically true because I think we did at least one um from like sitting on a bed together. I feel like I have this memory of a
Sitting on a
comic,
bed.
yeah, like a WrestleMania or a Comic Con of just recording in a
Or
hotel
was it
room.
like after the Dallas Comic Con in your
Yeah,
hotel room with like April asleep in the corner or
something
something
like
like
that.
that?
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I do think that Matt and I have recorded a podcast in a bed together. This one, this one is separate. This one, only one of us is in a bed.
All right. Well, we're going to get through the Blue Thunder, and then we're going to wrap up our 1983 run with that movie. And then we're going to go into a franchise, everybody. A franchise. We'll let you know what that is toward the end of the episode. We are actually doubling up right now. And I say this only to warn you, because right before this, we recorded a Secret Invasion breakout, which I will release first. So that will be available to you first. Then I'll release this a day later or 2 days later. See how it goes. And for all of those listeners out there who actually do make it to the end of the podcast, you will know that my brain gets fried and my word maker stops working correctly. And I get a little more tongue-tied than usual. And so hopefully that won't now happen in the middle of this podcast. Let's see if I can still keep it toward the end, like the last 10 minutes when I kind of burn out and fade away at the same time. All right.
It's all good. It's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff. They're all good dogs, Brent. Okay.
Mm.
So we're doing Blue Thunder, but first we've got some news here. It's funny because sometimes in my notes I have like lingering things I want to talk about, not even personal minutia stuff, but like I just have here. I think this was like 2 weeks ago. I wrote Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is killing it, just like
Yes,
as a talking point. But yeah, it is. It's great.
it is. I was going to suggest, Matt. I'll suggest it right now. Maybe I'm not going to promise. Maybe we'll do a breakout episode about the season because what a good season of TV.
We're gonna bust in on Transporter Room 3's territory.
Yes, we are. We're going to be the definitive Star Trek podcast for people who kind of sort of know things about stuff.
Who've like heard of Spock and Bones, but that's it. Yeah,
Right.
like that's so. If you're the casualist of Trek fans, come join ours. Phasers to fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I wrote. It has been, especially because it's had some really fun, silly episodes, and then last week it is with a very dramatic, cool episode. Like the tonality is on point where they're
But
able
guess
to
what? The Sillies are back this week.
Oh, the Sillies are back. Is this the musical this week? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, and then sad news, going from silly to sad here. Paul Reubens, someone very important to both Eric and my childhood. Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, has passed away after I guess a couple years battle with cancer that he
I think they said 6 or 7 years, right?
Wow, that's a long Does that mean that he had it when he was making what was the actual Netflix Pee Wee movie he was making?
Probably it sounds like it might have been right after that. Pee Wee's Big Holiday?
Holiday with Joe Magneto Gelato. Okay, yeah, so he just never went public with it. You know, obviously close personal friends and loved ones knew, but it just wasn't anything that we knew that was going on with him. Kept it private, and he has passed on. And a lot of younger listeners, I think you really just had to be in that zone of like 84 to like, I don't know, the mid 80s, really. By 91, he was embroiled in scandal, but like Pee-wee's Playhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure
through the late 80s.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse, the TV show, and which is you would think is just for very little kids, but we were watching it in middle school, or at least 6th grade. And Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which stands the test of time, still holds up today.
Absolutely.
As far as like being just a unique comic force of a movie. Like there's really nothing like it. It's really hard to describe. And Paul Reubens in general is just a very funny individual who's known for this persona primarily, but also would show up here and there on TV or like things like 30 Rock or I can't see, my word maker's already failing me. I'm trying to think of the vampire show that
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Which was a riff on his Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He even used the wig from that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, he's just been around forever. Mystery Men, a lot of stuff. But anyway, those things in particular, and then just his overall presence, as far as like people who were pop culture ever present, omnipresent in the 80s, like a Mr. T or a Max Headroom or a Hulk Hogan
or his very good friend Elvira Cassandra Peterson.
Someone else known for their longtime persona.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it just people who just would be at things like MTV award shows or they were just everywhere. I don't think did he have an animated series?
Not of his own. He did animated voices. He was Batmite on several episodes of Batman the Brave and the Bold. Sorry. And he did other guest roles on. I think he was on Tron Uprising actually.
Because when you were in big in the 80s, you were everywhere. Like Freddy Krueger even became like a hero and had a 1-900 number. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. You
put out albums, you guested on rap singles, like just were everywhere.
But the thing is, of course, he returned to the Pee Wee role in the past decade, and to
he did his stage show again. Yeah,
he did a stage show, which I'm so sad I missed. I remember I had an invite as press, couldn't go for some reason. And then he did the new Netflix movie, and it was very much like with welcome with open arms. Because generationally, people, it's like he was such like all those people he mentioned. Also mentioned Weird Al, who I know isn't playing a character the same way, but it's like these like larger than life, like fun people that we grew up with that they just like they've been there forever. And Pee Wee Herman was one of them. And so when he returned to the role of Pee Wee, while having done other roles where he was always really funny. Like, I mean, he is so funny in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, which is not a great movie, but he's like one of the best parts of it.
Which we'll talk about very briefly in Blue Thunder later. But yeah.
Yes, but when he returned to the role of Pee Wee, it was just kind of a great thing to see that again, that he still could so effortlessly play that role, and just it fit like a glove. I remember quite enjoying the Netflix movie, which was definitely obviously doing a lot of the things of Big Adventure. It was a road trip movie again, yet also putting him in some very funny new situations and just showing that this character still was incredibly funny. So just to be someone who created a character that's that beloved and iconic is amazing. On top of that, he was just a very funny comic performer who could, be great on 30 Rock. So yeah, just really an amazing presence.
Obviously, everyone should pour one out. I don't know, what would you pour out? A foot long or something for Pee Wee?
The Mr. T cereal.
Yeah, pour out Mr. T cereal onto Mr. Breakfast and watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure, catch episodes of Pee Wee's Playhouse. But also, would this be on Max, you think? It was an HBO thing originally. The stage show I used to love. The original stage show.
I've never seen that.
Oh, you should totally see it because Phil Hartman's Sea Captain.
Yep.
So good. So for those who don't know, Paul Reubens came up through the Groundlings, and one of his collaborators, longtime collaborators, was Phil Hartman, who helped him actually develop the Pee Wee character together. They
co-wrote the movie Big Adventure.
Co-wrote the movie with him and another Groundling, and then also co-wrote the stage show, which Phil Hartman also starred in, and basically created the stage show after Paul Reubens auditioned for SNL and didn't get on. Obviously, Phil Hartman would eventually, but this stage show was sort of like where they poured their creative energies after that. But yeah, if it's on Max, you should check it out, because it used to be on HBO, just regular, like they would just air it on and off over the years, because it was made for HBO, or made and then aired by HBO. So, all right. And then let's talk about some news that just broke today, just a few hours ago, actually, regarding Scream 7. Eric, do you know why, before you mention who the new director is, do you know why Radio Silence is out? Do we know?
No. It's so funny. I was going to tweet this week. I was thinking about why haven't they announced Scream 7? They announced 6 like 2 weeks after 5 opened and was such a hit. 6 was a bigger hit, so it felt strange that they hadn't announced it. And I guess it was probably just this whole like them not coming back thing. It does mostly, there's been a lot of the talk is just basically it was that it is ironic with the strike and everything, how things are going to all take forever now. But it sounds like it might have just been like them not wanting to make it their next movie and Paramount wanting to move forward. So they're making that movie like a Universal monster movie. Melissa Barrera is in that movie. But it sounds like basically it's like, well, we're not going to really wait on another Scream movie, so they're going to just move forward. And when they did press for Scream 6, they were very like, hey, we want to see this series continue with or without us. So I kind of think they kind of knew they probably weren't going to do it at that point.
That's weird, because I don't know, we're so ingrained and so used to trilogies at this point, and like, come back for the third one, round it out with something, especially because the first 3 Scream movies were supposed to tell this trilogy style story with the rules of the trilogy.
Yeah.
So we kind of feel like that from them, especially because they were so successful with this passing of the torch, and they get the formula, they get the movies. And so we're always going to be wary of anyone new coming in, and they were someone new who came in and worked.
Yeah. But as far as replacements go, they did a pretty good job.
I don't know. This guy is a little too handsome to be directing horror movies, if you ask me. Mr. Christopher Landon, son of the also extremely handsome Michael Landon, star of, I was going to say Last House on the Prairie. Little House on the Prairie. Last House on the Left. That would be a great one. A combination of Little House and Last House on the Left. Christopher Landon, who wrote, I think, like 4 or 5 Paranormal Activity movies, but directed Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day to You, and Freaky, of his more notable recent entries. Eric, is this when we finally get Jessica Roth in the Scream franchise?
How could it not be? How can it not be? That would
You'll be so angry if it didn't happen. Like, it's all there. It's all there.
Who, I mean, I can't believe Jessica Roth isn't a bigger star. It seems insane. She's so talented and so pops in those movies. It's really crazy that she hasn't done bigger stuff. But if he doesn't put her in a Scream movie, come on. I mean, again, it did take Radio Silence to their second Scream, although it was scheduling. They wanted Samara Weaving in the first in 5. That didn't work out. They put her in 6. But hopefully everything aligns for Jessica Roth to be in Scream 7. So I am sad that Radio Silence isn't coming back because I thought they did a great job with 5 and 6. And obviously, you know, they were so well received. But as far as like getting someone else that, you know, feels like a completely the right type of person as far as the horror comedy blend, you know, this is a pretty great choice. So it's a that's too bad, but oh cool, kind of mixture news.
I'm looking at her projects in general, and she also just needs to work more anyway. So like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. It's like I don't know, but it's like, are people not casting her, or is she choosing not to do things? We'll never know. But like, she should be in more things for sure.
I don't know. It's just so weird because she has a movie coming out. It's that one that Sam Raimi produced, Boy Kills World.
Mm-hmm. With Bill Skarsgård, yeah.
And she replaced Samara Weaving in it, actually. So it's just funny because I love Samara Weaving, but even there, Jessica Roth was not the first choice for that movie, and I'm like, it just seems like Jessica Roth should be the first choice for some movies. So yeah, I don't know.
Roth or we riot is what we're saying. And then, we're a couple days away of finding out if this is all true. Basically, I think it's supposed to happen Friday that the Writers Guild is supposed to enter back into talks with the AMPTP.
Well, they're gonna have talks about entering back into talks.
No, that's even worse. This is all terrible. This is stupid.
I mean, the thing is that because, you know, the writers have been on strike now for months.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that the AMPTP has never even been like, let's talk again. And now the actors are striking. And a lot of people thought the actors would, even though they're the more recent strike, they'd get negotiations again first. So it's the one hope here is that, and the hope is that anything's happening at all, and that they are starting with the writers who it seemed like they were just going to keep dismissing. But who the fuck knows?
Well, they need the writers before they need the actors. So they need them to write the thing, and then they
didn't seem to think that. But yeah, it's just, you know, as this thing is going on longer and longer, and you've got these big stars who are either on the picket line, or now there was that report about all those big stars that gave like $1 million each to like the fund for people that are like not working right now. Obviously this is
which is a terrible name for a fund, but they should workshop that as writers is what I'm saying. But yeah,
it just feels like you know, they can posture all they want, the studios, about, oh, we're fine, but they're not going to keep being fine. So who knows? It's been, you know, because the crazy thing is we're about to hit the same amount of days as the writer's strike of 2007 2008, and the longest strike ever, I think, was the 88 one, but that's not that much longer. And a lot of people have been feeling, I mean, the feeling has been that this thing is nowhere near the end.
No, I told you, we talked about that. I feel like this is going to go on forever. The forever strike, like the forever purge.
I don't think forever, but I did feel like this could go to the end of the year. And so the fact this is happening at all is a tiny sliver of hope. It could mean nothing. People have pointed out that the negotiations in the last strike picked back up much earlier, but then the strike kept going because they still didn't get anywhere. You know, they started negotiating again, and then it was still like, you know, oh, the same bullshit. So who the hell knows? But yeah, we'll see if anything comes of this. And meanwhile, Stephen Amell is not making a lot of great contacts for the future.
He's just being a heel, Eric.
He's being a heel.
He's just being a heel, and that's his only way he knows to promote his show, Heels. He can't promote it otherwise, even though he was at a Comic-Con or whatever. But yeah.
By the way, the PB Herman Show 1981 special is currently on Max.
You know, I might just fall asleep to that tonight.
Yeah, I might try to watch some.
I have my own sexy time.
Yeah,
all right. Let's get to some write-ins. Sam writes in, hey, Joy Boys. I've been enjoying the recent 83 run. It's a great excuse to catch up with old stuff I should have seen years ago. I was wondering if you guys have any thoughts on doing a director theme series of main events.
Yeah,
we do. We just don't know when or who, but that is not off the table. It's one of the reasons why we didn't pick any Cronenbergs, right, for the 83 run.
And Matt, I didn't even talk to you about this, but Matt had written as maybe possibly what if we did Pee-wee's Big Adventure next week as a one-off.
But that would ruin our Burton run. Yeah.
But I want to do a Burton run. Yeah, and that's what I meant to tell you.
Yeah.
A Burton run that wouldn't include the Batman movies, because that would be for a Batman run. So.
Oh man, but then we do a Burton Batman and then we branch out. And then it's like the branching Netflix event and it's the bowl of spaghetti from the Flash. And we're like, it's a mess. Then Sam continues, are you going to be doing a Secret Invasion Breakout episode? I was incredibly underwhelmed by watching it and excited.
Matt loves it.
Yes, I do. Go listen to it. Listen to me rant and rave about it. Mostly rant. Okay. Yes, we did one. It's up already. So go listen to that.
But it's my fault that it's several days later than it would have been. My fault for being sick and broken.
Stupid, sick and broken person. By the way, also, we assume you came home from Comic-Con feeling the crud, right?
Yeah.
We assume because others came home with the COVID.
Yeah.
That was the COVID. We'll never know where we get.
Oh, we don't know for sure.
The time, like when I got COVID, look, I was cool before it was cool to be cool. I got COVID pre-vaccine, and I have a strong idea of how I got it, but I can't be sure. It could have been something else. You never know. Sam just he's excited at the possibility of both of us making fun of Secret Invasion. Sam, go listen to that right now. Okay. Richard writes in, I don't know when the heck Eric recommended it, but my wife and I watched Joyride last night and loved it. Thank you. So,
I recommended it a few weeks ago. What's the name? I'm sorry. What was the name of the person?
Richard.
No, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Great, really funny movie that completely bombed in theaters. But people will discover it as time goes on. So I'm definitely glad you checked it out.
Richard and his wife did.
Yep.
Daniel writes in, I watched The Outsiders, the 2-hour version.
So the recut.
So the recut is 30 more minutes, Eric.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think his original cut was even longer. Like the one that they nixed back when he tried to release it, and then he did the recut like about 15 years ago.
So Daniel writes, at the end, his teacher tells him he's failing, but that if he writes a good paper, he will give him a passing C grade.
Mm.
And so he writes a paper about his life, and that's the paper that he writes at the beginning of the film. And that scene was cut from what we watched. But yeah, that would have let us know what was going on with that. Like,
right.
I feel like a lot of those scenes, I'm not in any rush to watch 30 more minutes of Outsiders, but I did feel when watching it, there was more.
One day, if the next time I visit that movie, I'll watch the longer version.
Yeah, if we can find it or where we can find it. Who knows? Okay.
It's on physical media, Matt.
No. Terrible. Okay, Blue Thunder. But let's talk about our next franchise that we're doing. We are going to do the Exorcist franchise, which is probably more movies than you guys remember there being.
Well, they made one of them twice. This is the big trick.
So we've got The Exorcist, which is the first movie we're doing next week, which you can rent or buy. It is not currently
which is so stupid. It's just so weird to me when a movie that famous. Again, we're not owed anything. It's just weird to me that like Warner Brothers wouldn't have it on Max. But what do I know?
You don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
And that'll be followed by Exorcist 2, The Heretic, Exorcist 3, and then there's like the aughts Exorcist movies, which get into prequel territory. There's an Exorcist TV show, which we'll do an episode of, all leading up to the new David Gordon Green Exorcist movie that's coming out.
I'm a believer.
This isn't going to like lead up to it directly. Maybe a few weeks short. Is it? I can't remember. How many movies up?
There'll be a few weeks between. We have to have a discussion about the fourth movie too, how we want to handle it.
Which one is that one?
Okay, I'll just say
is that the one with Stellar Skateboard?
The fourth movie is the one they filmed twice. Stellan Skarsgård stars in two different versions from two different directors that they completely reshot completely. I've never seen the one that wasn't released theatrically, so I'm like, should we do it as one episode?
I didn't even know. That was when I was managing the movie theater, and that's when that movie came out. I didn't know there was another version of it.
Oh yeah, so the version in theaters was directed by Rennie Harlan. The version they didn't release was Paul Schrader, but they put it out on DVD and Blu-ray, so both are legally available. But yeah,
what if you watch one and I watch the other, and we just have a completely confusing conversation about the film?
Well, all we know is Stellan Skarsgård is definitely in this movie.
Yes. All right, so let's talk Blue Thunder, a movie that I mentioned last time I had seen, and by that I guess I mean we had rented it. This was elementary school for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we had rented it, and this would have been with my friend who lived in my building named Jake Campbell. And his father, Ken Campbell, is actually an actor who's been in a few movies and bit parts and so on. And I think the dad rented this movie. It wasn't like us renting it, but he was like, you guys will like it. And then it was on in the background while we probably didn't pay attention to it. I think he was watching it because there's so much of this movie that it was almost like I was watching this for the fucking first time, I think. Because
I mean, 100% for me too.
Because I know technically I've seen it, or it was on in the room I was in, but I didn't realize this wasn't like a Top Gun style movie. I didn't realize it was like a weird conspiracy movie that just takes place all over Los Angeles.
Yep.
I didn't know that Blue Thunder
Cop movie.
I didn't know that Blue Thunder's a bad machine. I didn't know it's like a bad thing, like a big bad. I thought it was like a heroic weapon and he was going to fight terrorists, but it's not. It was meant to be fired upon our own citizens. I didn't, of course, I would not remember or know that Malcolm McDowell was in this movie. And I also, one of my notes during this film that I was happy to see kind of almost confirmed by reading about the movie afterwards, which I wrote, there's a version of this movie. This is what I wrote. This is a version of this movie where this is all in his head and he just goes on a PTSD falling down style rampage through LA with a helicopter, only to read that the original ending of this movie is Frank Murphy, more of a crazy main character with deep psychological issues, who goes on a rampage and destroys LA before being taken out by F-16.
Oh, wow.
So that was an original script ending, like one of the earlier drafts. And so I was like, because there's so much about this movie where he should not be flying a helicopter. He needs to see a psychiatrist. He needs to deal with his issues. But in true tough guy fashion from the, yesteryear action movies, that's all stuff that he shouldn't have to be bothered with because there's a conspiracy that he needs to solve. And men will do anything except to stop going to therapy, including shooting cops in a helicopter all over Los Angeles. Because there's a point where it's like, you need to see a psychiatrist, you need a check. And we're supposed to, I feel like as an audience member, we're supposed to be like, boo, the chief telling him he needs to get checked out to see if it's safe for him to fly, he can handle it when he clearly can't. Like it's weird because we're supposed to want him to fly, but we should not want him to fly at all. It's crazy. So yeah.
I 100% saw this movie in the theater. Again, I have stupid memory for like my new show. Like I remember almost every movie I saw in the theater, even if I don't remember the movie. So case in point, Blue Thunder, I know I saw it with my dad in the theater. I just remembered zero about it, except there was a helicopter. I too, Matt, in my mind, it was like a military movie with like a badass helicopter. And the fact that what we're really watching is a like 70s, or I know this is 83, but a type of movie of the late 70s, early 80s, which is a cop on the edge, lots of cliches, Vietnam, PTSD, captain always chewing him out, suspending him, young partner who's going to die. It has like all the hallmarks.
Yeah. The chief actually says, I have no ass left because the old man just chewed it off. Like that line, like he says it. So
it's a hard-boiled cop movie with this crazy helicopter of the future conspiracy going on.
With the coolest action movie cop girlfriend you could ever ask for in a movie, where at the end of the movie, he's like, I need you to go to the drive-in, dig through a dumpster, take the tape to the news station. And she's like, okay. And like, that's it. No, like, Frank, what's this about? Where are you in trouble? She's like, all right. Like,
well, when I realized that has had to be the only reason they had that bizarre scene where she endangers her son's life by driving the wrong way on the street to get back
to the car, and she drives down the wrong side of the road
because she missed the turn for Travel Town. And then I realized, at the end of the movie, she's going to be chased by cops and she's going to be like a stunt driver. And I was like, okay, that's, I guess, their justification is she's a crazy driver.
And I think they're also trying to like alleviate she's unhinged too. So they clearly belong with each other, even though there's sort of like, we get the idea, basically they're an on again, off again couple because he's like distant and has trauma and stuff like that. but she's also not well. So it all works out in the end. Yes. And there's just certain there's some really weird, interesting things about this movie. But then there's also, like you said, the cliches where it's like, of course he meets the enemy from the past from the Vietnam War happens to be the one he squares off against.
The rival pilot.
Cochrane. And we also never really truly find out what happened in Vietnam. We know that we think he threw a guy out of a helicopter, but we don't know why he tried to get Murphy court-martialed.
No.
We don't know any of that. Like, none of that is ever fleshed out. And then the other thing where he's like, does the finger guns and catch you later. And it's like, clearly that's going to be the thing at the end of the movie that Murphy says when he kills him. Like, it's just set up in that way. There are things that just happen.
We also don't know why he was a British guy fighting with them in Vietnam. Although it is funny that a big part of this movie is just Murphy and a couple other characters just mocking his British accent.
That's so weird. So he's like, he like imitates Cochrane, like to comedic effect, as if he's insulting him.
Yeah.
Like he does the British accent back at him, and it's supposed to be a dig somehow. But then the other guy, the one who didn't want to fly with him anymore because of something that happened like 2 weeks previous, where he probably had like a PTSD episode while flying Montoya, he calls him like tequila breath and like other like racist things. So this is just a Murphyism. Or if you're just different, he'll make fun of your culture and your anyway.
Well, let's also talk about the fact that our hero is a peeping Tom creeper.
He's a super perv. And I wonder what we should get Shelley Goldman on the podcast to talk about what it was like taking 8 or 9 year old Eric Goldman to see a scene with someone who's like
more like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Full ass nude doing yoga, just full bush, just everything out. Like,
again, my parents took me to the Entity. Ghost rape, Matt. They had no line.
I know. Well, the other thing is like the other thing is they don't know. Like, again, it's the poster for Entity doesn't say AKA ghost rape.
And the thing about Blue Thunder, by the way, is how gratuitous that scene is. It's literally the only nudity in the movie. And it's just them being like, let's just watch this woman who, for some reason, stands in her house doing works out naked.
That's the thing is that like it's a standing date, right? Because they know if we go to Encino at 10:30, this woman's doing that, and it's also not the only time that Murphy's a huge pervy.
No,
because later when it's some like motorcycle cop that he recognizes. There's no real context for this. It's like, I know that bike. I know that guy. He calls him a double dork or something like that. And then he just broadcasts the surveillance technology on Blue Thunder, listens in on him having sex, and then plays it through the loudspeaker.
Yeah. What the hell? At least he found a partner who is even more into it than he was.
And he's crazy too. He's like grabbing the screen. He's like the boobs.
Oh yeah. He's like Jerry Lawler, like Attitude Era.
He's like, oh god. Yeah.
I like the line in the beginning when Murphy says about he has an exact statistic for how many people are having sex. It's like 1 billion, blah blah blah.
And we're gonna see them all in order right now.
No, but his statistic is 1 billion point blah 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 are getting it on, and then he goes, the rest are waiting for Laverne and Shirley, which is so specific. It's like, those are the only two choices?
Well, because he's looked in everyone's windows and he knows. He's like, it's either sex or Laverne, or
Laverne
people
Shirley,
waiting at their television set for Laverne and Shirley to come
on. Also, of course, as a LA kid, I did love how much this is early 80s LA. Again, no idea when I sat down to watch it last night that would be the case because I had no memory of this movie. Very specific at the beginning when they go Burbank and Vineland liquor store. I go, oh, it's Circus Liquor, and then it is Circus Liquor, which is cinema's famous for Clueless, because she stands
where she gets rugged outside,
with the giant circus clown. But it was Circus Liquor back then, so you get a glimpse of the clown in this movie.
Yeah, there was great shots of the city in this. It really did feel like a character in the movie itself.
It did, yeah.
And then also great helicopter stunts in this movie. They did the T2 chase through the LA River before T2 did it.
LA River, I was saying to Trish, who wasn't really watching the movie, but she was like in and out of the room as I was watching it. I was like, oh, they're that one, because the LA River, notoriously is like, it just looks like nothing. It's just concrete. But there's the one cool looking part, and it's where they drag race in Greece, and it's where the big race is in T2, and it's in Blue Thunder as well. The kind of wider area there that they do that chase through.
There was a funnier movie here from a non-payoff standpoint if Murphy somehow didn't say "catch you later" when he blows Cochran up at the end. Like, he just doesn't say it, and then so we get Cochran doing it 3 times, and then there's no payoff at the end.
Yeah.
Also, if Lyman Good, Daniel Stern character's name, if Lyman Good dies without ever realizing what Jaffo means, he does. It's in a message, because when he gets killed, I'm like, oh, he never learned what it meant. But then we get the posthumous message he left for Murphy afterwards. He's like, oh, and I found out what this means. But it was more amusing for things that like clearly set up to not pay off. Right. But they did, because Blue Thunder is Blue Thunder.
Now, what about you, Matt? When I was watching the beginning of this movie, like the night on the job, obviously he's
it's so weird because he says like, welcome, what does he say? Welcome to air support, where it's like supposed to be this crazy job where honestly all they do is shine a light on people for the cops to shoot.
But also that didn't, I thought at first, oh, is this movie just pure copaganda? Like, because it's just like, we are badasses. Look, everything we do
kind
works
of,
the way we want.
It was there. It was 83, yeah.
But I was saying, it turns out the movie is going to be about something else. But it is funny at the beginning, because I'm like, is this just about like how awesome they are as cops, and they get an awesome helicopter? I didn't know.
What it was also sort of like, hey, isn't it also awesome that we're helicopter cops, which is something that nobody does movies or TV shows about. So it's kind of like, we got to show you how cool it is to be this specific in this specific arena of law enforcement. So he's like, welcome to air support. Things get crazy
without their permission.
There's nudity and violence and like all this cool stuff, and it's like, but in the end, it's funny because it's not like they shoot back at the people who are shooting at them. They just, again, they shine the spotlight on people for other people to shoot. And
it's a plot point that they're not allowed to have weapons, and then we learn later Blue Thunder's not changed.
They're not. Well, also that's the other thing is that again, Murphy should not be up there flying, because even on this first night, he has an episode.
And when but also like when they shine their light, because that's their thing, on the shootout by the pool, and Brentwood, I guess. Like one guy gets shot, and he's like gets like a big like stylistic like falling into the pool, like slow-mo, cool looking death. So at first it just seems like it's like, this is awesome. These guys getting all the bad guys. That's what we're doing here.
And I don't know exactly. I think the whole thing was like, obviously they were trying to get her briefcase because there was important documents in there, but also it was an assassination, right? They were trying to take her out because she was onto them and their project. I think she was part of a task force on urban violence or something. I don't know, but
I don't know. And the messaging's all very weird, because she's also, remember, she's like, let him go, when
she seemed fine. So did they kill her in the hospital? I don't know.
But she gets shot. She gets shot right then when she yells, "Let them go."
Oh, okay.
But then, like, ironically, she's like, I think it is an accidental shot, but she is shot by one of the guys. But I'm also like, wait a second, like, are we supposed to be like, oh, this bleeding heart wants to let these bad guys go? I don't know. It's all kind of muddled. I'm not sure exactly what we're supposed to take away from all of that and what the exact plan was there.
It takes a while before we get to the Blue Thunder of Blue Thunder. It sort of comes out of nowhere because...
But don't worry, they really build up to saying the title of the movie when they say it.
Yeah. First we get basically he's grounded, or he's not, he's chewed out by his chief again because he's flying over homes in Encino, and he was supposed to have a psych evaluation.
What if he has a line to Daniel Stern about, I've been doing this since you were watching Bugs Bunny and gnawing on a fudge sickle?
Yep.
very specific, sure.
Baby Daniel Stern, obviously most of our listeners are going to know him as a wet bandit from Home Alone, but also the narrator from Wonder Years, and then countless other things. He's just been around forever. City Slickers, a lot of stuff. he is Lyman Good in this. He's the rookie who's going to fall to the conspiracy and be the sacrificial lamb, if you will, who Murphy gets framed for at the end. We'll talk about the end in a few minutes, but like it needs. I would say I really want an extra scene. I wanted one more scene to happen in this movie, but I realized if there was another scene, it would just be Murphy still being arrested, because even if he was trying very hard to reveal the truth to a news station, he can't just be doing what he's doing. Also, a lot of people died. A lot of missiles hit buildings. A lot of apartment complexes got shut up.
A lot of people had to be killed in those downtown office buildings.
Absolutely,
that got shot. Yeah.
Absolutely. There was no way he went on the run or he got arrested. So that would have been the extra scene that happened in this movie. Even though all the other bad guys got arrested, apparently he was going in the clink too. Okay. Then we get him at home. He's drinking milk out of the cartridge, the carton cartridge. He's drinking milk out of the carton, and he's listening to his answering machine messages, and it's Kate who keeps calling him, and then she does come over, and you know what, Eric? What? We didn't do good things to enjoy at all.
Oh, I felt like we were going short. It's so funny you say that, because when you said let's go into Blue Thunder, I thought, it felt like we I did it quickly.
Yeah. You know what? All right. Well, it's delayed another week. Then,
oh my God, it's ironic.
We can't go back now, but yeah,
we'll talk about next week about your very delayed good thing to enjoy. Not my fault this time.
Who's got the COVID? Who's got the COVID this time? It's me. I mean, I do have long COVID, so there's your explanation. Okay, back to the reality. Oops, here comes gravity. Okay, so Candy Clark as Kate. Candy Clark, very charismatic, very fun presence in this movie as the psychotic girlfriend, Kate. Amazing driver with no context, by the way, for how good she can drive. She just can. That's fine. Yep. Long career, been in a ton of things. Even the Twin Peaks, the Twin Peaks revival, where she played Sheriff Truman's wife in 2 episodes. But yeah, just on a lot of stuff. Still, basically, again, like a 40-year career we're talking here.
Oscar nominee for American Graffiti, which obviously was a
is that right? Is that right?
Career starter for a lot of people.
That's a movie I only saw once, like back in film school, and I thought it was okay. Not like a big graffiti head, as it were.
I enjoyed that film.
A lot of people do, but also, and we'd mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, a little bit later, and we will, because she played in the movie Buffy's mom, not Buffy's mom from the TV show. But yeah,
the person who also was amusingly familiar to me in this movie was the anchorman, Mario Machado, who I was like, oh, that's the anchor from RoboCop. He's in all 3 RoboCop movies. Has Casey Wong, one of the
So is he just in movies where the cop is named Murphy?
Yes, that's A. Yes. B, in this movie, he's using his real name because he was a real life anchorman who appeared in multiple projects as himself. It's just funny that he's kind of big to the plot in this one, because he's like, get this to Mario or Al. Like, it's like a big thing to get him this this tape, but that's him.
And she gets it to him, and then she's almost like shot right at the end. And then the security guard, which felt like something that would have been a perfect Stan Lee cameo if this were an MCU movie, knocks the guy out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then the next day happens, and he's still grounded. But here's the thing. Diana McNeely, this councilwoman, dies in the hospital, and this prompts Murphy to go back to the crime scene, and he finds a piece of paper.
She dies in a very funny news report by Mr. Alf Hewitt, who just, because he's so specific.
Yeah, about the cause of death, like exactly
injuries,
what happened.
And also how they said if she had lived, she would have been totally paralyzed. I just think it was a funny thing to throw out.
I know, it's like, basically she
was fucked.
Yeah, it's like, so maybe she's better off, back to you. So then he's already got like conspiracy brain at this point, because they were like calling it a rape, and he knew it wasn't a rape attempt. And so he found a piece of paper, but it's in Spanish and he doesn't know. There's no Google back then, so he has no choice but to go to Montoya eventually. But then immediately he finds out that he is chosen for a special detail, because they're testing this new helicopter over Los Angeles. And he gets to go out to the Mojave Desert bright and early in the morning for this big test in front of a lot of people and generals and stuff like that. And this is when his old nemesis from the past shows up. But first we get to see Blue Thunder.
Well, also, I want to mention that they make it very very topical because they talk about the impending Olympics in Los Angeles because the 1984
they mentioned
Olympics.
not wanting any Munich massacres either.
Yes. And I remember the Olympics in LA when I was a little kid, and that was a big deal. So that was funny to hear them that this movie a year before was like, we have to worry about terrorists.
But the thing is that even here, because they're talking about terrorists, and they obviously have this whole town set up, this Pinkville town set up with innocents and terrorists in there. But crowd control from the air is even mentioned here, which feels like it was part of the actual conspiracy plot. Like that's to quell disruption, but crowd control from the air also sounds bad. Like,
oh no, he says it didn't work in Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get, and at first, Eric, I have to say, I didn't realize that this was a failed test, really. And it's like, look what Blue Thunder can do. And then it just blows everything to shit. And it's like, oh my God, is this a successful test or not? I couldn't tell, like, because it felt like it.
Well, the guy at the end is like, if you have any, let's go down and check it out. If you have any questions, he seems.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was, so when they cut back to people and it's like, yeah, all those terrorists dead. And he's like, a few white ones too, you know, like the innocent people. And so I was like, okay, so they did notice that innocent civilians were being killed. And then the whole thing with the bus where they're like, look at the bus, seems innocent, but they're terrorists on board. So they destroy the entire bus.
Yeah.
Just blow it up.
Well, it's supposed to be escalation because remember at first the guy is like, hey, 1 civilian dead for every 10 terrorists. That's an acceptable ratio. But then we do see that the weapons fuck up. Like the pilot gets all frustrated. Well, I guess, which is it turns out to be Malcolm McDowell. And it gets worse as it goes on. Like the acceptable losses grow more and more as it's happening. And also I just want to mention, because I referenced it earlier, I just really liked how they made a meal out of the name Blue Thunder when he's like, yeah, someone hung a nickname on it. What? Someone hung a nickname on it. Blue Thunder. Like they want you to know you're saying the title of that movie, which is funny because I don't think they ever say it again.
But you know what's also funny is that it had another name.
Yeah.
It was also called The Special. But then the people decided that it had a second nickname,
Blue Thunder's
which is
cooler.
Blue Thunder. It is, but why even give it the first nickname? Why couldn't it have one nickname? Why does it have to have it be a second pass on nicknames here?
Right.
Okay. So then, Murphy is supposed to be the pilot flying this over LA. Why? Why isn't Cochran flying? I don't understand the whole premise of this. Why isn't Cochran doing this? Also, the funny thing is that Cochran's like, first of all, he seems like he has veto power and he could just say no, but he's like, no, I'll take care of him. And so they do the thing where they fly over together and he trails him and he sabotages Murphy's helicopter so that it actually fucking crashes. Now, I thought, there were two reasons he did that. One was to discredit him, and so that, hey, you crashed this fucking helicopter, there's no way you're flying Blue Thunder. Or B, he's kill it. It was like, maybe he'll also die. He will also die in the crash. That would be also acceptable. But the funny thing is, he totally crashes. No sabotage is ever proven, and he still was like, well, where's Blue Thunder? Where's Blue Thunder? And like, next. I was certain that he was out, but then they were just like, all right, see you tomorrow.
Good old Murphy.
It was just more of a humiliation type thing, I guess. Like I'll get him. And the funny thing too is that I couldn't tell at first when the people rushing into the construction site were going to rescue them and see if they were okay or if they were pissed. Turns out they were pissed.
They were both, I think. It was a little of both. Like they were they were pulling them out, make sure.
Yeah, so they could kick their ass.
once they knew they were okay, they're gonna kick their ass.
He's like, I hope you're not dead because I'm gonna kill you. All right, so then we get that the Kate's a batship driver scene where she misses one exit, so she decides to fucking play Fast and Furious franchise down the freeway with her kid.
I was also very excited by her 1980 Disneyland parking sticker that is very prominent that you see in her car.
I wish Blue Thunder had fucking flown over Disneyland and like lit it up.
No, for a second, because it turns out they're going to Travel Town. I'm like, are they going to Disneyland? But they were not.
And then so yeah, he starts getting this note translated by Montoya, and there's strangers in the bar are making trouble. There's some mention of Thor, which turns out to be a project. Which the code name
means nothing to people in 1883.
Doesn't, except unless you read comics. But yeah.
What is funny, by the way, because they never even say, "Oh, the Norse god," even though clearly, like, that would be why it's in the script. Like, one of the writers put it in there because of the Norse god. But it's they find out what an acronym, but they never say that that's the name of a Norse god.
Murphy falls asleep reading a book to Kate's kid, but she can't find him for a while in the apartment. She's looking for him, and then she's just like, "Is this something kinky?" But then she finds him, and while he's asleep, he's dreaming bad Vietnam dreams.
Yep.
And then the next day happens, and he still gets to fly Blue Thunder. I was very shocked.
Which made me think of did you watch Wonder Shows? And you must have watched Wonder Shows.
Some of it a long time ago. Yeah.
It made me, I was thinking a quote, "You're never too young for a Vietnam flashback."
We get to go over the system. Him and Lyman Good get to go over like, the helmet controls the turrets. Then there were these like recording tapes, these all the new tapes.
Ways they can perv on people.
Yeah, and I don't understand the erasing system or whatever it meant. All I know is that I didn't need to. I guess by the end they just needed get me the tape or whatever. Yeah. But then yeah, like it's bulletproof, it's got armor, it can and it's got all that surveillance. It can zoom in, it can listen to people.
Really cool, man.
Yeah. And it cost a whopping $5 million. It cost 2.5% of like Quantumania.
That's still we joke about Mission Impossible 2 and how it seemed too low even for the time. This seems too low for the time.
It does. Like $5 million. Yeah, absolutely.
This is years after there was a TV show called The $6 Million Man. So
tell me that human being cost $1 million more than this helicopter.
Yeah, that in mid-70s. Yeah, it seems like this should have cost more than that.
Because it wouldn't seem like a huge loss when he makes a train smash into it at the end. I'm like, all right, $5 million.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers has that on him. So then there's a whole thing where like Cochrane's like, "You threatening me? You talking to me?" And he's not threatening him. But then he says, "Stop threatening Cochrane." Then they go to we missed the part earlier when he talked to Cochrane, and they're like, "You looped a helicopter," which is the trick play that comes in at the end.
Of course, yeah.
He's actually someone who has done a full like roller coaster revolution with a helicopter. At the end, he does it with the help of turbine boost. So 80s loved helicopters.
Yeah.
What are the other things 80s loved that you mentioned last time? I can't remember.
Ninjas. Yeah.
But also, Eric, they love themselves some turbo. They
love
love turbo boosting, whether it's Knight Rider or Pole Position or whatever. Just that little weird like juice that you give.
Well, it was Nas before Nas.
Yeah. It was proto Nas. Yeah. Then he and Lyman Good go out and fly around in Blue Thunder, and this is when they were like, you know what? First thing we do, double dork, Pervin on double dork, but then this is the weird part where they're looking up things, and then they actually just look up Project Thor, and this is when the conspiracy parts start because they don't return to base. Instead, they follow Cochrane out of the building, and they follow him to the Legion of Doom, I guess, the headquarters where they just openly talk.
It's the federal building. I actually think that's the federal building on Wilshire Boulevard.
It is. It's the one in West LA. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I got a emergency passport when I was trying to get to the Hunger Games final junket.
It was a place that whenever I walked past when I was
protests?
Protests constantly in front of the federal building. A lot of picket lines. So But yeah, then they use their infrared and their microphones to capture.
For a meeting of the bad guys, just being like, "Here's our evil plan.
Yeah,
Here's
should we kill Murphy? Let's kill Murphy. All in on killing Murphy. If I order a little bit of kill Murphy for the table, will you have some? Yeah,
I
sure.
definitely endorse killing Murphy.
Yes, I definitely do. But like, can we kill Murphy twice? Is what I'm asking.
But then he's like, "But this meeting never happened." Okay,
He's like, but everyone shut up. And then he opens the curtain and he's like, "Oh, it's Blue Thunder."
It made me laugh a lot when he looks out the window and sees the helicopter.
It's like, hello.
Whoops! I wanted Murphy to shrug.
I
Like,
wish he
"Oh,
was drinking something into the spit take on the window. Would have been great.
Murphy!"
No. So then he returns it to the Blue Thunder headquarters, or the LAPD helicopter HQ, and they kind of just live their lives, except that Lyman Good knows enough to take the tape.
Right.
He's smart enough not to bring it home with him because he winds up getting killed. He winds up getting jacked up. That car shot where they run over him with the car. Jesus.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was expecting a full, like, over the hood stunt that you usually see when someone runs over someone with a car or hits them with a car in a movie. This was like a horror movie. Like, I thought we'd see his head crushed underneath the tire.
Well, also because he's his hands are bound and he's gagged, so it's a pretty ugly death. We should mention that the actor Anthony James, who runs him over, very familiar presence from 70s and 80s. You know, that lean, angular face. I remember him from Naked Gun 2.5, but he was always like, lots of bad guys, lots of heavies.
Is he the one who fights him with the pillow, or is that someone else?
I can't remember if he's the pillow fighter or not.
I can't remember if the pillow fight's in the first or the second movie. But anyway, the pillow fighter.
Hector Savage was his character.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's a badass acting name. What's his actor's name?
Anthony James.
That's not as good. Okay. Okay. And then, but then this is when it all starts going haywire because they all know that Murphy knows. They all know. And so they kill Lyman Good. They frame Murphy for his murder. And so he goes on the run. And this is when he calls Kate to his aid. But he also steals Blue Thunder. So he goes back, steals it when he realizes that the walls are closing in on him. And this is, I mean, it's a cool idea for an end, right? Like, girlfriend's driving, you're giving air support in Blue Thunder as you nicely shoot cop helicopters, like in a nice way, like it's in a G.I. Joe cartoon way where you can
it's like Terminator 2, the leave them alive.
Yeah, I promise I won't kill anyone, shooting the guns or shooting the end. And same thing with the F-16s at the end because they could escape hatch out of there.
Yep.
Even though they're missiling buildings.
Even though downtown LA is definitely losing.
At no point is he like, maybe I should fly out of the city. Maybe I should leave these guys outside.
This is the Man of Steel argument all over again.
Yeah, get out of civilization.
Right. In a movie that is very specific about LA and started out with the Vineland and Burbank Boulevard liquor store that was a real thing. I was surprised that they say go to the drive-in at Riverside and Victory, which isn't a real intersection. Those streets are, but they don't intersect. So I did look up what drive-in they're on. I don't know why they didn't just say the real street. It was in Burbank. The Pickwick Drive-In Theater closed in 1989. It was on Alameda. And that theater is in a bunch of movies, Matt. It was in Grease, aforementioned Grease. It's where he's, sings, but it was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's the drive-in theater from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, good stuff, Pee-wee. Action-packed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's kind of like the way people used to complain about San Dimas, where the 10 and 210 meet. The 10 and 210 don't meet. But yeah, so okay.
Blue Thunder was doing so well with the geography until they.
I know, and then it just blew it all to hell. Again, great helicopter stunts going on at this.
No, this is good stuff.
Like flying all over Los Angeles, ins and outs, the LA River stuff. All really good, and I like the idea. There's that cool moment where she does get pulled over, and he just pulls up on them, like he raises up off the side of the freeway, and like I don't know, it's really cool.
And it's just crazy that this is John Badham, same year as War Games.
Yeah,
so same director.
Another like messagey movie, but clearly this guy is going to jail. That's all. Like I don't care if you don't kill a cop. You can't open fire on police officers and destroy their property and destroy property in general just because it's like, but they were making a weapon.
Here's the weird thing I'll mention right now. I was going to mention this later, but just as we're talking about Badham, because I had forgotten that Badham directed both this and War Games. And I'd also forgotten some of other Badham's other movies because I was going to mention that this movie, again, that you and I, neither of us remember what it was actually about, is another wave of 80s stuff, which is there was a couple things going on in the 80s. There was rah militarism like Top Gun.
Yep.
But then there's stuff like this movie, War Games, and the other movie I was going to mention, even though it's a more comical version of it, is Short Circuit, which are, we better be careful of this new technology. It could be used in nefarious ways. Now, Short Circuit, of course, is about a robot fighting against that. John Badham directed all three of those fucking movies. And I didn't even think about it.
He had a message and he wanted to get it out.
He was definitely scared of they're gonna kill us all with this shit.
I'm wondering, because James Cameron, is of the same technophobic ilk as much as he loves technology when it comes to movie making.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That you wonder if something like the LA River Chase inspires T2.
Maybe.
I don't know. You don't know. I mean, but yeah, that's why I picked this movie, because there was no other animated movie to pick and there was no other sci-fi movie to pick. We had done a John Badham movie first. I figured we'd do one last. Big year for the Bad Man. And so yeah, this whole thing at the end, because eventually, they call him the F-16s. Then he's supposed to be outmatched, but he's still not outmatched. He has to basically make the missiles blow up other things. We hope everyone got out of that little Tokyo chicken factory. It completely exploded. Chickens went everywhere.
Yeah. What was the place? Name of that barbecue place?
Amos.
I said that's right.
Amos Barbecue.
I typed goodbye Amos's barbecue.
Goodbye Amos's barbecue.
And then I typed
that's my favorite line from Candle in the Wind.
And then I typed the very next thing I typed is, I guess a bunch of people just died when that missile hit that building.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so they play the lip service of, they show a few people running out, but clearly there's a full staff going at Amos Barbecue. It's famous Amos Barbecue.
Now the weird thing is, of course, inevitably, we're going to get McDowell and getting into a helicopter too for a face-off. The only strange thing is, it feels like Murphy has such an advantage by being in Blue Thunder, because McDowell gets into a helicopter, a military helicopter with guns, but shouldn't it have been like Black Thunder, Matt? Shouldn't have there been? It should have
been the car to Kit. Right?
Exactly.
It should have been
this one's even newer. This one's even more dangerous.
This is the one that they haven't even tested yet. This is the one I was
so surprised that it's just he gets a generic helicopter.
This one's Red Lightning. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that would have been so much cooler. And then that would make sense why he needs to pull out the trick play to get behind him. Yeah. He's like, it seems like everything Thunder does, Lightning has a counter for.
Not this.
So the funny thing, the collateral damage in this movie at first with the F-16s is Murphy dodging these or leading these missiles astray, and the missiles hitting buildings. But when Cochran comes in and starts shooting him, Murphy sets up a trap for him. And he's like, I'm hiding right here behind this building. And when Murphy comes by, I'm going to shoot the shit out of him. And he does, and he misses, and he just shoots a building. And that's purposely Murphy murdering everyone in that apartment floor.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. Batman versus Superman all over again. Oh, no, just Man of Steel all over
Man of
again.
Steel. Batman vs. Superman tried to deal with that as a plot point, don't forget.
That's true. Well, what we don't see in this movie is Bruce Wayne down on the ground looking up at the gods in the sky.
At the Wade building that he just shot up.
That's what that big business building was. But yeah, and then after basically she gets the tape to the news station, they actually start watching it and they listen to the evil shit that's happening. And then they were even like, hey, maybe lay off that there's a sniper loose in LA stuff. This Murphy guy's onto something. But he kills Cochran. He says, catch you later. And then he's like, I'm taking away your weapon. No one can use this ever again unless they spent $5 million.
Right.
And then he puts it on the track.
Good thing the government doesn't have another $5 million.
He's like, oh, that was our last $5 million. and he blows up the train, and then he walks, and you hear the news reports talking about the arrests that are happening. But again, any extra scene after this would have been him in fucking handcuffs because he went
Unless he escapes into the underground and becomes
mental.
a one-man
That's the
A
thing.
team.
He can't. He's a one man A team. Well, Kate can join him too. She's the getaway driver. Like
That's
she's
true,
really
that's
good behind
true.
the wheel.
Yeah,
She's the
yeah.
wheel man. All
He
right.
becomes a new team. Yeah. Yeah, this is a fun movie that's also kind of all over the place because it's like I said, it's kind of a weird cop conspiracy theory movie with this super helicopter and a main character who has it's written that he has some PTSD and mental issues, but he's also just casually a perv. That's not supposed to be a bad thing, apparently. But there is some exciting stuff. John Badham knows how to direct a movie, and it looks good, and the action is cool. So it's a weird movie, but I did enjoy it.
Roy Scheider, interesting career.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, huge. Jaws was huge. Return for the sequel. Marathon Man. I think he's not. I'm trying to remember that movie. He gets killed in the beginning, right? Like he's not a big.
Never
Dustin
seen
Hoffman's the main pair.
Spoilers.
I did see it. He's not the Marathon Man, just so you know. That's Dustin Hoffman, I think. Yeah, because he's a runner. He's a runner. He's a runner. No, he is the lead in the movie, but he's also the Marathon Man. But then this movie, when I saw it, I had no idea who Roy Scheider was. And then I'm trying to think. 52 Pickup, I want to recommend. Underrated Elmore Leonard book turned into a movie with Roy Scheider in the middle of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Oh, Rainmaker. He's barely in that movie, but that's a weird movie, a Coppola movie that I really like from the 90s with Matt Damon. It's based on a Grisham book.
Another movie my dad took me to is 2010, which I remember
I've
enjoying.
never seen 2010.
Peter Hyams, man.
Peter fucking Hyams. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's no Kubrick, but I remember I did enjoy 2010, even though it's a very strange, obviously, to even have that movie exist as a sequel to 2001. But there it is.
Well, how is that movie received? Like now, how is it looked back on?
Obviously, I feel like it's got a little bit of.
It's a totally different movie than.
Yeah, so I think it's gotten a little bit of like, hey, that movie, like some people, it's been claimed a little bit as better than people thought because no one was ever going to give it a shot as a sequel to 2001, directed by Peter Hyams. But now people do enjoy it a little bit more on its own terms.
I don't think I saw any of the. By the way, he's in the movie we've mentioned a few times on this podcast recently as a joke, Naked Lunch. But I didn't see any of the post 2010. I saw 52 Pickup, but I didn't see Night Game or The Russia House or he was still making these movies, but or The Fourth Wall that he did with Jürgen Prochnow.
Yeah.
But I don't think I saw him in anything until the late 90s with The Myth of Fingerprints. I think it just went on this huge Roy Scheider drought. I just refuse to watch Roy Scheider. Oh, we should mention The French Connection that he was in. That was before Jaws.
I wanted to mention a little more about John Badham though, just because he is just interesting. Obviously his biggest movie, Saturday Night Fever. One of those we talked about this, I think, with War Games. He was a journeyman director as far as not a distinct visual style, but just very good, shooter. Very well-made movies. He had other hits. Short Circuit mentioned, Stakeout and its sequel, a movie I really like, The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and James
problematic
Woods.
Actor James Woods.
Yeah, but good but problematic actor James Woods. The interesting thing about Badham is he had about 20 years of directing big studio movies.
And then he just directed CW shows.
Well, not just CW.
I know a lot of stuff. USA.
The Shield, Arrow, Nikita, Heroes, Supernatural. All this stuff. And then, his last credit is 2018. Look, the guy's 83. I hope he's enjoying a nice retirement. But he directed a lot of TV, including a lot of TV that, people listening to this probably watched. Terry Metalis' 12 Monkeys.
Well, it's interesting if when he stopped. Look when he stopped directing TV and when he started. And in between was all of his big movies. So it's he stopped 74, he stopped directing TV, and then he picked it up again with The Shield in 2003. So
right, because look, a lot of people start in TV, and he was directing TV episodes the same time as Spielberg, including Night Gallery, which is a show Spielberg directed on. It's just Spielberg didn't go back to TV after 20 years. Obviously Spielberg's at a different level, but John Badham, good director. It's just interesting that he ended up going back, doing so much TV. Yeah, I remember seeing his name on a lot of these shows now. I'm like, oh yeah, Nikita, Supernatural. Be like, John Badham directed that. But
John Badham directed I consider to be the lesser of the two skydiving movies that came out around the same time, which is he did Drop Zone,
yep.
and the one that I liked was Terminal Velocity. But yeah,
and then the last movie of his I would have seen, I mean, chronologically, because I've never seen 1987's Incognito with Jason Patric, but I have seen Nick of Time with Johnny Depp.
I never saw that. Wasn't that supposed to be a real-time movie?
Yes, it was the first time I'd ever seen something touted as real time. Obviously, 24 would make this very mainstream. But yeah, this was the first time I remember being, that was a big selling point, was this movie would be, from the moment, this normal guy gets caught up in this crazy situation, we will watch the movie in real time. And then I remember the movie wasn't very good, but there you go.
No, I just remember it had Johnny Depp in it, and probably
Johnny Depp in one of his
people.
very unusual.
He didn't have a funny hat. He didn't have a funny
Yeah.
accent. He didn't have an eye patch. He didn't have tentacles. He wasn't. Yeah, he didn't
just
have
playing a dude.
a prosthetic nose.
Maybe if it done those other things, it would have been a hit. But
didn't have knife hands. Yeah, it's all good.
Well,
they just felt the gimmick was enough. And he's like, I don't need the gimmick is the star, not my craziness. But yeah, John Badham, still alive.
Enjoy yourself, John Badham. But I am glad we bookended with the Badham, the government's gonna kill us movies.
Oh my goodness. He directed no, he didn't. What did he do for Starman? Oh, he was going to do Starman, but then Carpenter did it. I was like,
one other person, even though we're trying to wrap this up, I'll just mention the other person of note to me on this movie, that it was co-written by Dan O'Bannon, and then I'm reading about it. He did the
Alien. Yeah.
Alien, of course, and then he wrote and directed a movie I recommended somewhat recently on this podcast, which is Return of the Living Dead, one of my very favorite movies. I mean, Alien 2. So Dan O'Bannon, who doesn't have like a shitload of credits and died sadly young, but not young, but doesn't have as many credits as you'd think for a guy who had huge part of like some major movies. But so I was interested to read that he did the early drafts of this. I wonder how different his early drafts are from the movie. Now that you're telling me about this different ending,
maybe his ending was the one where he goes nuts and it's all in his head, and he's imagining things and turning violent. All right. Sorry for skipping the good things. There'll be good things next week. It'll be all good. They'll still be around. Until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real except demons when they possess you. And Shakma.